I remember when you were little and I said, Katie, always tell the truth.
I am telling
Even
the
if
truth.
it's bad. Even if it's bad, the consequences might be as
I'm
bad.
telling the truth. I don't know anything else, Mom. I don't want to be in trouble.
This is 23-year-old Katie Heller, and her mom just realized that she's hiding the truth regarding the murder of 43-year-old Thomas Wick. The crime scene was full of gang signs, and Thomas was found in one of the most bizarre crime scenes ever, with writings on the wall so strange that you'll have to see it to believe it.
Oh my god, you guys are crazy. Holy shit. I watched First 48, I watched some really mean detectives, but you guys are ruthless.
No one in Green Bay, Wisconsin had a bad thing to say about 43-year-old Tom Wick. He was a passionate, giving man who wanted nothing more than to enjoy the beauty of the world and share it with other people. He became a master electrician to support his family, and after a divorce, he went above and beyond to spend every waking second that he could with his 2 kids. He started his own electrical business, Bayside Electric, and at the time of his death, his business as well as his personal life was flourishing. When he wasn't hard at work, or outside fishing and enjoying nature, he was helping other people. Like his tenants, a young couple to whom he rented a property at a severely reduced rate with a custom payment plan to suit their needs. Tom didn't need the money. He wanted to assist people who were struggling more in life than he was. Well, despite his kind heart, he was found dead in his apartment on the morning of February 27, 2012. Tom had no enemies, no known ties to drugs or violence of any kind, and yet, when the police entered his house, they found a highly disturbing scene. Everything about the scene of the crime sent chills down law enforcement's spines. Not just because it was gruesome, but because it was very, very strange. They had never seen a crime scene quite like it. Tables had been flipped in the basement. Tom's body was unnaturally sprawled in the corner with several gunshot wounds, including a single shot to his head. It was clear that he had been someone's target, but whose? Tags on the walls, written with crayons of all things, seemed to be the first hint of who could be behind this. MS-13 was scrawled on several walls in the basement, seemingly indicating that the notoriously dangerous Hispanic gang was behind Tom's murder. But why would such a violent gang be hunting down Tom, of all people? Officers had questions, and it would take a lot of work to get answers. Officers quickly spread out to interview associates of Tom after surveying the scene, during which they spoke to Mathew Moore, who claimed to be a close friend of Tom's. They took a brief statement from him before they moved on to continue their investigation. Apparently, however, Matt wasn't pleased with the statement that he had made. According to Matt, giving the statement to police didn't go well. He contacted the station soon after, saying that he wanted to issue another statement to correct the previous statement he made and help investigators get to the bottom of this. Go back and issue a different statement may look suspicious from the detective's perspective. Yet, it looked like that Matt was eager to put himself at the top of the suspect list. That being said, Matt has no idea that he's even being considered a suspect. But soon that'll be hard to ignore.
I appreciate you coming down, and that's why we did a section interview. It's not just you, we're re-interviewing everybody's.
Understandable.
So, thanks for coming down, I appreciate it.
Tom he's one of our friends and a real good man.
Mathew claims that Thomas is a good friend of theirs and a good man. But does Katie, his girlfriend of several years, share the same perspective?
Went down real close, did talk a lot?
No, I didn't talk a lot, but I mean, when he called, he liked to talk to Matt, or like with the earnest money and that type of stuff, like the $500 that we gave him before we signed the land contract.
Okay.
So they weren't very close. I think since we got the house, we talked to him maybe like 6 times, maybe.
Okay. Well, why don't you just go ahead and tell me what happened, or how do you know?
Tom was, I didn't know him like personally, but I considered him a good friend. He changed my life for the better. You know,
How did you meet him?
He had listed a house on Craigslist. His house on Beaupre, he listed
That you live in?
Yeah, when And we called him to go see it, and we went and saw it, and he was
Was it for rent or for sale?
It was for rent, and he had his mind made up on a woman, a single mom, and he was going to rent it for $1,100 a month, and she didn't have a job, but he felt sorry for her. And then he met us at the last minute, and then I told him, I was kind of looking to stay long term, and he saw how much we loved the house, and I told him that I work at Bell Jail still, and I changed my life around, and we're just looking for some stability to live. And he mentioned a land contract, and I told him I could take some money from my 401k, and he liked that idea, so he chose us over the single mom. And
What kind of arrangements did you have with the land contract?
I took $10,000 out of my 401k, and I gave him, I think the total ended up being, after Liberty tax title and his lawyer took money, I think I ended up giving him a little over $8,000 down cash for the house.
The contract that Matt and Katie had with Thomas is highly unusual, and perhaps that's because, according to Thomas's friends and family, Thomas was an unusually kind man. Matt begins to tell a story that doesn't align with Thomas's behavior according to any of his family or friends. It's a story that's connected to something discovered in his house, and it brings up a big question. Who put it there?
Well, 6 weeks ago, he came out to my work, and which is really random, didn't call, I went out on break at work to smoke a cigarette, and him and another fellow were sitting next to my vehicle. So he got out and talked to me, and
He was just sitting, he didn't know you were gonna come home.
It was sitting next to my car, and I asked him, how did you know you weren't sitting here all night? He said he was gonna wait till I was done with my shift.
What time was it roughly?
11:30 around maybe.
At night?
It was like 6 weeks ago, so I'm kind of vague on the time.
I mean, it was after dark.
Yeah, it was dark. And he had another fellow with him, a Latino fellow, that sat in the car. And Tom got out, and it was just weird that he was sitting there, So I was like, what do you need? Usually he calls, but his reasoning for not calling is he wanted to talk man to man. And usually I share a phone with my fiance, so he didn't want her to know. And I was like, well, what's up? What do you need? And he said he's really sorry to ask me. His business was going really slow, and he was wondering that if in the contract, if there's any way that I could give him all of the money that we agreed in the contract, all of the $5,000 for the 4 years, which that really threw me off because I don't make, I'm a young guy.
Well, yeah.
And and I said, tell me what's going on. You need some help or something? And he said, no, the business wasn't doing too well, and he just needed to pump some in the business and get it going until summer. So first I said no. I was like, that's just too much money to come up with. I had as my life savings. I had cash at home that I've been saving for probably since I was like 12. I had roughly $17,200, which I ended up giving to him. So
you had it at home or in the bank? Or?
At home, in cash.
Thomas was, by all accounts, not a man who needed money. His electrical business was wildly successful, and, according to friends, he gave Matt and Katie a break on rent because he didn't need to rely on their payments to pad his bank accounts. Matt's suggestion that he had $17,000 saved in his bank account and gave it to Tom is an avenue worth pursuing for investigators, for more reasons than one. Not only did Thomas not need money, but Matt had no means to actually have that amount of money saved. Just a few years prior to this interview, Matt was jobless and penniless, fresh out of jail for a shocking crime.
I had roughly $17,200, which I ended up giving to him. So
you had it at home or in the bank? Or?
At home, in cash.
Why would you keep that kind of cash at home?
It's just like, it was like my safety net. I always just kept it by me. It's just, I don't know. I should have kept it in the bank, but so first I said, no, I can't come up with that kind of money. That it was my money that I was saving for my wedding, and me and my fiance's wedding, a new car, and her engagement ring. So it was like, that was like my everything, So first I said no, and then he said he really had no one else to go to, and he really needed it. He said he thought that there was a chance that he might lose his electric company, his Bayside Electric. So, and he said no matter what, he can get it back to me this summer. He said every summer he has booming jobs. He said he has so many jobs.
So he was asking you to lend it to him?
Yeah, to borrow it to him. And then we came up with, I said, well, if I give it to you, can we just restructure my land contract so I don't have to pay you every February? Because the total of what it added up in February was $20,000, 4 years, $5,000, 4 years, it added up to be $20,000. And I told him all I had was $17,200, and he said he would square it away. So I told him, I ended up agreeing. I don't know why, I guess.
This is all that first night you were talking to him?
I didn't give it to him the first night.
No, you agreed to it.
I agreed the first night. You know, I guess I did it because he chose us for the house. I've been turned down by so many car loans, by so many banks for help. You know, I just felt like he helped us and put us in that house. You know, I felt like, why not help him back?
Did you catch Matt's slip up there? First, he claims that Thomas was going to pay him back in the summer. Then, only seconds later, he changes his story and claims that Thomas took the money to cover the $20,000 that Matt and Katie owed him over the next 4-year period. And on top of that, Matt's yapping. Matt's yapping a lot. Over-explaining is something that guilty parties often use to try and make their story appear more valid. Here, Matt repeatedly and elaborately explains his feelings and motives behind his quote-unquote generous decision to give Tom $20,000. Innocent people don't generally feel a need to justify their choices. Still playing in the back of law enforcement's minds is Matt's mention that Thomas had a passenger with him as they had this financial discussion. By the way, if you're finding this video interesting, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really supports the channel. Now, let's dive back in.
And what did his passenger say?
Nothing. I never once spoke to a passenger. I kind of looked at him. He stared at us the whole time. And
Did you ask? Have you ever seen him before?
never. Just
Never asked him and
once.
say, who's this? Who's?
I didn't. I kind of looked at him. I kept looking at him when we were talking, and every time I did, Tom just kind of like stood in front of him, and you know what I mean? Like, I've never seen the guy. That was the only thing about this deal was it kind of made me nervous. Is I've never seen Tom with anyone but his kids, you know?
Law enforcement slowly begins to turn up the heat in this initial interview. They ask Mathew to retrace his steps over Saturday and Sunday, around the time that Thomas was killed. Matt gives them answers that are far from concrete, using phrases such as, well, I usually, and most days I will. This is potentially being used so that if his alibi crumbles, he can later redact his statement and claim that he never said that he was doing a specific action for certain. He may be able to escape this trap that law enforcement has set for him, but the next trap is a landmine that will be impossible to avoid.
Have you ever been over to his house?
Yes.
When was the last time you were at his house?
Katie and I went over there to drop off some cheese, because I give people cheese orders. We went over there to drop off some cheese. That was about a month and a half ago.
In January? Was that before or after you
That was
gave him the money?
before. It was before I gave him the money. So maybe it was about 2 months ago we gave him a big order of El Jose cheese.
Did you just meet him at the door, or?
We went in. We went in and sat down and sat in his living room, and then we talked to him in the kitchen for about half an hour.
You and your fiance both did? So the only time you were in his house was this last time you brought cheese over?
Yes.
And you were just in his living room and his kitchen?
Yeah.
Not in his bathroom?
No.
Not in any of the bedrooms or downstairs or garage?
No.
So you don't even know what the layout looks like in the rest of the house except for the living room and the kitchen?
No, I know he had a finished basement. So he's always talked about redoing his basement, finished basement.
So you've never seen that?
No.
Now, if police are able to locate any of Matt's DNA in Tom's house, Matt will be unable to claim that it must have been left there when he was visiting, since he claims to have never been inside. This essentially prevents Matt from going back on his word. That being said, there are plenty of other places where he will do just that. The more he spoke, the more suspicious he became to law enforcement. Quickly, they began to dig for evidence to either validate or dispute Mathew's claims. By March 13th, less than 2 weeks later, they had probable cause to search his home in relation to the death of Thomas Wick, the man who gave him a place to live out of the kindness of his heart. But instead of bringing Mathew in for questioning first, they decided to go a different route to gather as much evidence and intel against him as possible to add to their growing file. They called in Katie Heller, who seemed completely unbothered to be speaking with them about the financial deals they made with Thomas. But was this because she doesn't know what truly happened, or because she was putting on an act?
Well, because he gave Tom that $17,000 in January.
That's 17,000. Where did he get that 17,000?
Well, he had been saving it for a new car for me.
You didn't saving? You didn't know about it?
No, because he was going to buy me a brand new car.
Oh, I mean,
I was mad when I found out. What did you do?
and when did you find out?
Well, he had told me because I kept saying, well, the $5,000 is coming due. And then he finally told me, well, I need to tell you this. And then...
What day did he tell you?
I don't remember what day. It was probably like a month ago.
A month ago?
And he told me...
Do you remember what day, month, Sunday?
It was
Saturday, Sunday morning,
it was a
Tuesday?
Sunday morning at like 5 a.m.
Okay. Then how did he tell you? I mean, that was a surprise.
Well, yeah,
My wife-
because he sat down and he's like, you're gonna be so mad at me, you're just gonna be so mad at me. And I'm like, what? And then he was like, okay, well, this is what happened. And then he told me, and I was pissed. I was like, why didn't you tell me about the money? Why didn't you, because he's like, well, because him and Tom, the whole time, they always were like man to man type thing.
I was gonna say, did you,
Like Tom didn't want me to be part of the.
when you did this land contract,
Mhm.
were you a part, was this more of a deal between Matt and Tom? Did you know about the whole 20 grand
Yeah, I knew about all of that.
back in August or whatever you?
That was talked about at the lawyers. Yeah, everyone knew about it.
Yeah.
But Tom wanted just Matt on the land contract because we weren't married. But then Tim said, well, if they're going to be living there together, put both their names on it, blah, blah. But Tom and Matt were always like man-to-man type, whatever. So that's why we thought Tom was in trouble, because he was with that Hispanic man at Matt's work, and he didn't want me to know, because Tom always got frustrated because I was like everything needs to be documented, everything needs to go through the lawyer, just because isn't that how it's supposed to be?
Katie tries to paint herself as the responsible wife, unaware of what was going on and trying to convince the men to go about everything in a more organized, legal way. Yet there are signs that her seemingly organized ways are crumbling around her as the heat in the interview turns up. She was casual at the start of the interview, but then begins self-soothing behaviors such as running her hands through her hair and playing with her hands. She also brings up something very peculiar unprompted, and Katie is insistent on claiming that Matt was in trouble of some kind.
All right, well, we need to tell you something here.
Mhm.
You need to be listening very carefully to what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Okay. You're about to make some very serious decisions in your life, all right?
Yeah.
And probably more so than you will ever make for the rest of your life.
Okay.
We know there's no 17,000. We know what happened, and we know that you know what happened.
To Tom?
Exactly. No,
I don't know what happened.
Let me explain this to you, all right? Because this isn't like any TV show that you watch. This
No,
isn't
I
like
know.
48 hours and all this baloney.
I don't know what
Let me
happened.
just hear me out.
Okay.
right? The decisions you're about to make today will affect the rest of your life.
Okay.
Okay, so think very carefully before you answer these questions in a manner that isn't truthful.
Right, I'm being truthful, I don't know what's going on.
Well, listen, I'll tell you.
Okay.
That whole case file there
Mm-hmm,
is all this case,
mm-hmm,
all right? We've dug into all your financial records, we've dug into all of your cell phone records, all of your text messages.
Yeah.
We've talked to a lot of friends, a lot of family.
I figured that you did all that.
And we know the story that you've told so many lies about the situation. You don't even know how
We've told what we've heard
No.
from his family, from everyone, from the neighbors.
No, Katie. I
Yeah,
can pull out your statements, and you've contradicted yourself hundreds of times.
not when I
Yeah, you have.
I only made one statement at the last time
What
I
about
was
the
here.
statements you're telling your friends?
From the family and the neighbors.
No,
The neighbors is
no,
what we have.
I'm talking about the statements that you're making about you, not about what you heard. It's about what you did, how
What
you
did I do?
found out, where you were, what you and Matt did. All of that's changed hundreds of times.
All we did was see it on the news and go right over there.
Katie,
That's all we did.
seriously,
Seriously.
I don't think you're listening to what I'm telling you here. All right.
I do. I'm telling the truth. I have nothing to hide. We saw it on the news. We called him, couldn't get the voicemail, or we kept getting voicemail. Matt left voicemails, saw it on the news, called my mom, and went over there. That is what happened.
That's not right.
I have nothing else to say. That's what happened.
Katie, okay, let me explain something to you, okay? Part of the search that we did was your text messages, okay? Part of those text messages we got, you made reference to seeing him the day before he saw him.
Yes, and I know that was to my friend Becky at work, and yes, I did say that, and yes, that wasn't truthful.
Why?
Because I just started my job. I stayed home the day after we found out because we didn't know what was going on with the house. We didn't know what was going on with Tom. We needed to find someone to talk to.
Okay.
And I just started my job. I wasn't going to lose it. So yeah, that was untruthful.
You also made a comment that you were actually in the basement. You went over there when the contractor found them. And you were actually in the
That's the
basement.
same thing to Becky. That was untruthful. I just needed a day off and I didn't want to get fired. I told her that was untruthful afterwards. I talked to her at work.
When did you talk to her?
A couple days after that day, I told her that was untruthful.
And we talked to her since then, and she never mentioned that. She said, this is what she told me.
Well,
Okay, but Kate, hold on, let's just slow this down.
that, I know, but that is untruthful
Yes, it is
100%.
untruthful 100%, okay?
Yeah.
And it's untruthful about the $17,000.
Well, that I don't
Because
know about.
we went
Honestly, I
back-
don't.
I went back and we subpoenaed the records, okay? And
Records
I-
of what?
all bank records.
Yeah, I know. Matt said it wasn't in the bank. I don't know anything
None
about
of the
that.
money was in the bank, but he didn't even have enough. You guys are living day to day, check to check,
We
okay?
had the money to pay him the $5,000 if he went for enough
Just
back.
because of the bonus.
That's how we were paying him.
Which is,
Yeah.
I went back, how many years do you think I went back?
Right.
I didn't go back till February. I went back years, okay?
Okay,
And
I know.
I
We
did-
got the bonuses every year.
And I can show you where you spent those bonuses as fast as you got.
I know,
Okay?
but we held them until when Matt said he gave him the $17,000.
No, you didn't. The bonuses disappear as fast as they go in. I can.
I am going to go to Chase because
You
you will
don't have
see.
to, I've got all the records, okay?
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is, we had $5,000 in the account.
Police have plenty of evidence that Katie has lied to them. But it's not just Katie's lies that they're going to use for ammo. After speaking with family members of Katie, law enforcement came to learn that she and Mathew's relationship was, by all accounts, toxic and abusive. The relationship between an abuser and a victim is extremely complex, and the officers will do all that they can to pull on that thread until the whole case unravels.
What did Matt do?
He told
Because
me
there's more to
already.
this than meets the eye, okay?
I don't know.
Your stories, your and Matt's stories, we've gone through and
The
we've
statement
compared.
that I gave to the detective was the truth. That's
Okay.
exactly what
But it
was.
doesn't Matt.
We said
But
no.
what did Matt say?
Matt said,
Matt told me the same thing that he told you that,
No, we did. We got a statement.
but he's got, his times and dates are probably way off. He doesn't know nothing.
Well, that's what
Seriously,
he's saying about
his
it.
times and dates are
So
all
there's
off.
certain things that you don't screw up. I mean, he described in detail where you were when he told you about the so-called 17,000.
Yeah, I was sitting on the bed.
No.
That's
not
where we were.
that's not
I
what
was
he said.
late.
You wanna know where you said you were?
Where?
You were sitting on the toilet.
Oh, yeah, because he said,
No.
listen, he said, I gotta tell you something. Then I went to the bathroom. He told me that I went back to the bed.
But that's convenient. Okay.
Why?
Because you changed your story.
We got
It's a
changes.
small detail.
No, we got changes of all their dates.
You said the statement you gave to the
The
officer.
statement I gave to the officers is exactly what happened. Because I didn't do anything. There's nothing that I did that I'm in trouble for.
Oh,
Well, you're covering for Matt.
yeah.
What are you talking about? No.
Because,
That is insane. You can put your hands up all you want. I don't know anything.
well, you're telling us that he came home
He
at
told me that.
4:45 a.m.
That's when he comes home. Yeah, because it was
No,
a Sunday.
he didn't even check out until after 5. He didn't punch out until after 5. So it's
I was
possible.
4:45.
You were, I looked at the clock.
He told me at 6:16 a.m. when we called Tom.
That's what he told you.
Yes.
Okay, now before you just told me he told you at night when you were sitting on the toilet. Which one is that?
It's 6:16 a.m. when I was sitting on the toilet.
No, he said it was at night right before you went to bed.
No.
It wasn't. He got home from work and told me that. I'm not covering up for anyone. I don't have anything to
I
hide.
understand. I think
You're in a spot.
I
you have to
don't know
understand that
what kind of
Matt-
spot I'm in. I don't know
very serious spot.
what he told me. I don't know.
You're lying for Matt, is what you're doing.
What are you talking about lying for Matt? He hasn't done anything. I know where he is. I know what he's doing.
Yes, he has.
How? Where's the proof?
We got piles of proof.
Yep.
We got piles of.
When suspects are beginning to truly panic, they will often ask what evidence law enforcement has so that they can begin to come up with stories that refute that evidence. In this case, the officers aren't falling for it, and they decide to keep the evidence close to their chest. Instead of giving Katie what she's asking for, they press forward with their plan to sow a divide between Katie and Mathew in order to force the truth.
Understand? Did you know that also that Matt is contacting some other women, some ex-girlfriends, that type of thing?
No.
Okay.
When? How? We share a
you-
cell phone.
No, he got on his brother's Facebook account and he's contacting other women.
Who?
I've got the-
I want to know who, because now I'm pissed.
Okay, and I'll show you the emails, all right?
With Katie already thrown off guard by the accusations of Mathew having an affair, law enforcement decide to pick at another insecurity in her and Matt's relationship: his past.
I used to be in a lot of trouble when I was younger. I went to prison for 2 years.
For what?
For fighting. I was on parole. I had a girlfriend who was, Becky was her name. She was 17 and I was 18, and her and I got in a fight, scuffle. So I got felony physical abuse to a minor, and that was the only felony charge I got. And then I got released in a signature bond, and her and I got back together. Well, the court ordered no contact. So her and I were hanging out when the court said no. So then I got 4 felony bail jumpings for breaking the court's order. So I got sentenced to 1 year in county jail and 4 years probation. And then on probation, me and my older brother got into a fist fight, and my probation agent revoked my parole and I went to prison for 2 years.
How long was that?
I got released from prison in August 2nd, 2006.
Mathew's explanation of his time in jail lacks culpability, but law enforcement knows the truth, and they want to make sure that Katie does too.
I know the truth. I talked to his patrol officer. He had gotten into a fight with his ex-girlfriend. They got into a physical fight. He was 18, she was 17. Then he went to prison for
What kind of
getting...
fight though?
Well, they were both drinking, and he threw her into a bathroom glass, and she broke his glasses, and then he went to prison because...
That's all, okay, but that's all that happened in the fight?
Well, that's not what I know. That's his parole officer just kind of gave me the
Do you
outline.
know that he stomped on her head?
No.
Okay. And
But he
it
hasn't
wasn't,
been physical since we've been
it
together.
wasn't a mutual fight at all?
I don't know any of that.
Tracked her down at a third party's house, because she tried to break up with him, and then he went off and started beating up the guy and beat her up over the head.
Can I read that police report? I'm not saying you're lying, I just want to know. Now I'm just curious, I don't know.
But
He went to prison because him and his brother were drinking, because if you look
That was
at
what he was
his
on.
brother's history, he is was quite the drinker. Yeah, because he went to prison after that.
Matt is a very, good father, okay? And he.
The last 5 years have been fine. I mean, there's no violence, there's nothing.
We talked to your family too, and they're very concerned about it. All right? Well, I mean,
But the last
so we're
3
just-
years, they were fine. That's
No,
what they're
not.
telling me.
Okay, they're not.
They like him, they said.
No. They are very, very concerned about you.
Why?
Because they can see the changes in you since the time that you started going off math. All right?
Yeah, but I changed, but they, every day my mom says how proud she is of me and Matt for where we've come.
Well,
That's what
Well,
she says to me every day.
She's proud of you.
yeah,
Okay. She's very proud
But
of
she's
you.
proud of me and Matt because we both stopped drinking, we both stopped getting in trouble, everything.
I understand, but and we've talked to her like 2 or 3 times now, and she says she's proud of you. She's very concerned and very worried about you, okay?
Why? I haven't been in danger.
Well, your family feels you're in danger.
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
When we first started dating,
Okay.
no,
when we first started dating,
email.
we had a crappy relationship, but that was 5 years ago. Now, I mean, for the last 3 years, I've been fine.
No, it hasn't.
How do I know? What are you telling me? How do
Because
you
you know
know?
what else? We've been pulling your garbage, and we understand that your relationship isn't so wonderful. We know that you don't trust them. You know that you know he doesn't care for you the way that you think he should care for you. We know all that,
You
right?
know I'm a drama queen?
It goes, wait, here's an email I got from one of his ex-girlfriends in Wick, okay?
Recently?
Yeah, I just got today.
Yeah, but when he was dating those girls, he was 100% different. He used to do drugs and
A
drinks.
zebra
You don't
doesn't
do
change
that
the
anymore.
stripes. All right, I've been doing this job for 27 years, and I'm telling you, a zebra.
Well, then he's covering up to me because we're living a very normal, everyday life.
Well, and then you don't, obviously know as well as you think.
Do you have the emails from the Facebook? I want to see those.
Yeah, it's right here.
No, from the girls he was emailing with his name signed.
Yeah.
Let me see. Can I just read it?
Well, I'm not gonna let you, because it's got her name on it.
I'm not gonna go after. I want to know who it is. Otherwise, he's not gonna believe me when I say something.
This is from his brother's, Ryan's Facebook account.
Well, it doesn't say anything bad. If I knew who
He
it
bought a
was
house.
for.
He bought a house now, we bought a house. My girlfriend and I doesn't say anything about her girlfriend. Talks about, hey, you wanna come over? Why would you be emailing this chick saying, hey, you wanna?
I don't know, because that's, yeah.
Is that what a good boyfriend does? Okay.
Did he email anyone else?
We'll get into that in a little bit, but, I'm just telling you that we understand by talking to people, Matt's not a great boyfriend. All right, no matter how much you want to stick up for him, and no matter how much you want to say that he is, that
Not
he's
even
right.
sticking up for him. I mean, from how we live day to day, he's fine. I talked to him like 3 times today. I went home on lunch, sitting on the
So you're
couch.
saying he doesn't call you fat, he doesn't tell you that nobody else is gonna cover one?
Yeah, years ago he did, but he hasn't in probably 3-4 years. He used to way back in the day. That's when, we both drank a lot, but we don't drink anymore. We haven't in years.
In looking at this whole case, we looked at it, and then we looked at you. And we talked to your parents, or we talked to your family, okay, your sister, your mom, and we did some background to see what's going on, okay? They've all said, Katie was at one point this girl, okay? They showed her a picture of you before you met him, okay? And described how your life was, okay? And then we go to now, okay? And we look at it and just to see the transition, okay, the transformation that you made, okay? You know what's scary? Is in talking to his other girlfriends and seeing what happened. This is the same thing. He took bright, young, attractive, beautiful young girls and he turned them into, people who would lie for him, steal for him, cheat for him, people who he used and manipulated, he physically abused, turned them into drugs, okay? And that's what we see, and that's what I see with you. And you know what? I see this every day, but to see it transform this many people this way, it bothers me, okay? And that is why your mom and your dad and your sister and your family is so concerned as to what's going on here and what's going on with you. They're concerned for you. And I think they have a genuine right to be
But
concerned.
they tell me every day they're happy for both of us. My mom hangs out with me like they're friends.
Because they want you to be happy and they're concerned for your safety.
But I mean, we're actually doing well. We were in a lot of trouble. We did do a lot of bad stuff, but the last 3 years we're doing well.
Berated by evidence that she has no way of fighting back against, Katie finally begins to truly break down. She begins to sob and requests for her mother to come into the room with her.
And that's how a relationship is, right?
We've been
But
through that over and
all
over and
of a
over.
sudden, you know, all of a sudden he comes up, why would he come up with that story?
I don't know. Ask him. I
But doesn't
don't
that,
know.
wait, doesn't that bother you?
I don't know. I don't know. All of this is coming at me. I just
Okay.
want to go home and think about it. I don't
You want-
know.
Okay, we can go home if you want.
I do. I don't
You
know.
want to talk to your mom, we've got her here.
No, I don't want to out here. I want her to bring me home.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay, Katie, I'll go tell them.
I'm stressed out because I don't
I
know
will
what's
go,
going on.
I will go get your mom for you, okay?
All I know
If
is
you want
what
to-
she told me. I don't know what's going on.
Katie, I understand, and I'll go get your mom now, okay?
Can I go home?
Yes, you can. Let me go get your mom, and you can go home.
I'm frustrated. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. All I know is what Matt told me.
Okay. Yeah, I understand that. But if you want to go home, that's fine. Let me get your mom, and you can go home.
While the officers have no obligation to bring her mother in, they decide to, in the hopes that her mother will be able to coerce her into telling the truth. Unbeknownst to Katie, outside of the room, her own mother has told law enforcement that Katie will, quote, lie until the bitter end. She agrees to join them in the room in order to convince her daughter to be honest. They begin to speak gently with her and reiterate that they are on her side.
They were concerned for you, okay? So that is why we're talking to you, okay? Obviously, you got to support you. You got support. And that's what we're talking about,
I know.
okay? So use that support,
I'm going to.
okay? There's a lot here that, and we've been talking, there's a lot here that I think is going on in Matt's life that you don't know about.
I told your mom, Katie,
Go home.
I told your mom, Katie, that in talking to you, that I can actually see the wheels turning, that your thoughts, and, you know, like for whatever reason, you're just,
Like I told him, what I told you guys is all I know. That's why I'm frustrated, because I don't have any more to tell.
Yeah. And you're frustrated because of the fact that you found some information out that you didn't know.
Katie continues to be unyielding in her story as officers gently press her for more info. Yet, it is her mother who gets the most emotional reaction out of her with just a few simple words.
I want to go home.
And you can.
I just want to go home.
Do you want to go home with your mom?
Yes, I do. I want her to bring me home.
Listen to me.
Do you want some time with her?
No, I just want to go. I want to go. I just want to go.
Listen to me. If you know anything,
I don't have. That's why I'm frustrated. I don't know anything, Mom.
you and Mathew will be prison forever.
I don't know anything. The only thing I know is what I told him. What Matt told me happened. That's all I know, Mom. That's why I'm so frustrated. I don't know anything else. I don't. This is a serious situation. I would say if I knew, okay? I don't know.
It is so serious, I might not ever tell you.
Why would you say that? I don't know anything. The only thing I know is what I told him. That's it.
Because I think you're covering for me.
But I'm not. I told him, you can take a lie detector. I don't care. I'm not covering anything. The only thing I know is what he told me, and that's it. That's all I know.
Many inconsistencies in the stories, though.
But I don't know anything but that. That's all I know. I just want to go home, so let's just go, please.
Do you know they have your card?
I know that. That's what they just told me. Yes.
And they're searching your house?
Yes. I know, they told me. I I should be worried. There's nothing there. I clean, I cook.
I remember when you were little and I said, Katie, always tell the truth.
I am telling
Even
the
if
truth.
it's bad. Even if it's bad, the consequences will not be as
I'm
bad.
telling the truth. I don't know anything else, Mom. I don't want to be in trouble. I have dogs, the job I like. I don't know anything else, Mom. All I know is I was in this house in August, and what Matt told me that day, that's all I know.
Soon after Katie and her mother leave the station, law enforcement brings in Mathew for questioning. With Katie's new testimony against his, they have even more fuel to add to the fire.
So, how did this whole plan to kill Tom, how did that transpire?
You guys think I killed Tom?
We know that you're involved in it.
Oh my God, no, I'm not involved with it. No, I'm not.
100%.
No, I'm not involved.
So how did that happen?
I did not kill Tom. I had nothing to do with it. The guy helped me out. He was my
Exactly. So how did it get to this point then?
I don't know what you guys got or whatever, but I did not kill Tom. That man was my friend.
How good of a friend was he?
I mean, he helped me out. I mean, it's...
He helped you out, yeah, and he paid for it, but he helped you out. He's not, a friend is somebody that you go to and you trust and you hang with and you talk with every, a couple times a week. A friend is somebody that you interact with, okay? Tom wasn't your friend, he had a business deal with you to buy your house. He was a nice man. That's what Tom was.
Well, I consider him a friend.
So, you didn't interact with him much. You gave you a break out of the house. You look at your finances, you have too many debts and too much out there.
I got a lot of debt, yeah.
No,
I got a shit ton of debt.
So if you had $17,000, why would you pay it off?
Because that was my safety net.
Mathew doesn't appear to be ready to budge on his story. Instead of going back and forth, repeating the same accusations, the detective decides to take a more emotional, pointed approach. And it pays off.
You have no intention of getting married.
No.
Katie, give me a break.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
I've been with her for 6 years.
So what?
You guys don't know me. I mean, you don't know our relationship.
Is that
I love her
why
to death.
Is that why you're trying to hook up with other ladies, right?
I'm not trying to hook up with other ladies. If I wanted to hook up with other ladies, I'd be with another lady right now.
So you're not contacting any ex-girlfriends or anything?
No, I mean, I say hi to him, or I sent a message to one on Facebook saying, hi, I'm doing good, how was your life? I mean, not like, hi, I miss you, I love you. I'm not trying to get with them.
Why contact anybody?
Why not?
Mathew is clearly sensitive about his relationship with Katie and how he is perceived as a partner. The officer has been able to get his first deeply emotional reaction from Mathew, and he's going to press on that wound until he gets what he needs.
Single day.
So you think your relationship is good with her?
Yeah.
Oh, I know it's not.
Well, you don't know.
Oh, really?
You're not with us every day.
We pulled your garbage and we see a handwritten notes that Katie's thrown out, and we know it's not. We know it's bad. Because you don't give her the affection that she thinks she deserves, and you're distant, and this and...
Well, when you work, the job I work, you guys try working at the cheese factory once, tell me you're not gonna go home like beat to hell. You can barely walk after 6 hours working there, you can barely walk.
According to you, you come home and play video games for hours, and then watch
Does
TV.
this require
So
energy?
if you're so beat, you go to bed. You can't even think straight because you're so beat.
You can't tell me you guys go when you go home from work, you go straight to your bed. I guarantee you don't. You guys probably go get a drink of water, get a drink of beer, or eat something, watch TV for a little bit, and wind down. Everybody I know winds down after work. You guys cannot deny that, right?
So you wind down for 6 or 8 hours?
It's not 6 or 8
Your
hours.
statement says that you stayed
Video
up.
games
Your
are
statement to us says that you got home, you played video games,
some.
you watched TV. No, I'm talking about the one day in question. You played video games, watched TV, then you went shopping. How tired can you be? How beat can you be? Barely walking.
It's pretty hard. You can ask Katie. When she pulls me out of those stores, I'm falling asleep in the stores.
Soon after speaking to Matt, law enforcement questioned his brother, Ryan, who told them that his brother was capable of anything, especially when he was abusing drugs, as he had in the past. He informed police that Mathew had successfully pulled off quote-unquote grand schemes before, including hiring someone to rob his own parents while he took them out to dinner to keep them out of the house. In addition, Ryan told them that his brother had come to him days before the murder and told him that he could no longer afford the duplex that he and Katie shared, and that he would be forced to move back in with his parents. Well, police had a motive, but still they had no proof. For 3 years, the case remained unsolved. Tom's family waited in agony for answers and justice. They dedicated a bench to Tom's memory near his favorite fishing spot, created a stuffed bear with his work shirts, and told Tom's 2 kids stories about him constantly. Then, 3 years to the day that Tom was senselessly murdered, law enforcement arrested both of them at the Brown County Courthouse as they were leaving a John Doe hearing. Throughout her 4 hours of questioning upon her arrest, her story largely remained the same, and she wasn't eager to throw Mathew under the bus. Unfortunately, Matt doesn't do the same for her. The Mathew that you are about to see is wildly different from the confident, put-together, cocky person that police interviewed 3 years prior. As police begin to question him regarding the chain of events that he told them 3 years ago, he changes his story entirely.
So let's start from the beginning when you ended up contacting Tom about the house. Or however you got to the house.
Like I said, about 4 months into owning a home, started seeing when I was coming home from work his car leak. Every time. I never followed. Katie had already cheated on me multiple times with Anthony Sweat and Carlos Corbus. I knew, okay, never did nothing about it, you know. So I started seeing his car more and more in the middle of the night leaving. So I left work on a Thursday, Friday.
You're seeing Tom's car leave?
Yes.
From where?
From my house.
On Beaupre?
Yes, sir. So right away, Katie cheated so many times already, I kind of thought, single guy. I didn't know if he's totally single, but it's like, okay, because the first time I saw it, I said, why? Was Tom here? She said, yeah, he dropped off a paint can, and there was a paint can in the basement. Then I saw it again 2 days later. Why was Tom back? He didn't call me. Oh, he dropped off more paint. Why can't you buy paint? We have so little money, you can buy paint. Well, he said he had some. And I'd go look in the basement and there'd be paint. So I started checking her cell phone, and there was never anything in her cell phone, no calls, everything was always deleted. So.
But this was a cell phone you guys shared, right?
No.
Did she have her own at that time?
She had 2 phones. Katie had 2 phones. I just had my phone. I was always on her mom and dad's plan.
Okay.
So, anyway, I was trying to think, what can I do about this? After seeing his car over 20 times leave my house, I knew, a guy keeps leaving when a girl's home alone, jobless, So, I thought about calling Tom and asking him. I said, no, this guy saved my life. He picked me he sold me a home when I had 30 judgments over my head. I'm going to confront Katie for the second time. The first time, by the way, when I confronted her when she cheated, her mom and dad begged me to take her back. That's why I took her back when she was sleeping with Anthony Sweat. And they did not want Katie back in the home. You would have to talk to them about that. But so one night I left work, I was punched in around 11, in between 11 and midnight. I parked my car all the way down. There's a roadblock there. I parked it all the way down the end, and I walked. And I sat. There's a front window, and there's a side window, and I just sat there and I smoked a cigarette. Sat there for about 45 minutes, and I heard boom, 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 and I kind of peeked up. Tom was walking down the master bedroom steps, buttoning his shirt, but his car wasn't anywhere.
So you're outside of your Beaupre house?
Outside, in my uniform, work uniform.
So you just left work thinking you're going to catch him. Is that accurate?
Not catch him, more...
Check it out.
I guess, yes, catch him, I guess. See him in the act. If you're not seeing him, you know what I mean? She kept coming up with these great excuses why he was over there. So I wanted to see, okay, what are they doing if he's over there so many times? What's going on over there? So
it was the nail in the coffin when he came down from the master bedroom buttoning a shirt. And then I wanted to know, so I walked around the house and his car was parked in the garage. Because none of the neighbors had ever told me that they never saw anyone coming or going or anything like that. So then they kind of told me.
His car's in your garage?
My garage.
Okay.
Next to hers. So he left that day when I stood there. I went back to work.
Did he see you?
No. He left. He went out the driveway, went and took a right. Just, I don't know where he went. So I went back to work and I thought about it. What am I going to do? You know, I have a cheating again for the 100th millionth time. You're used to it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad's worked through so many problems. I thought I could work through it and make him proud. You know, I have a wonderful job. I have a home. I can work through this. So I thought, what am I going to do? Should I go to his house and ask him if he's sleeping with my wife, or should I ask Katie? Katie's lied to me about everything. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go there again and see if they're there again. And when I went back the second time, I didn't see him, but I went in the house and I said, come on. And she was all happy. Oh, you're home early, but I was in uniform, so she was kind of skeptical. I said, come on, we're going to go for a ride.
Now, when is this?
The next day. This was Saturday, I believe. Saturday. So I said, come on, we're going to go for a ride. And she was happy, but skeptical, because I was in uniform yet. I had never come home in uniform. And she's like, why are you in uniform? And I didn't answer. I said, we're going to take a ride. So then she sat there. She said, where are we going? I said, you don't know. I got on the highway, and I started going over to her. As soon as she knew when I took that exit off Woodman's, I looked at her and I said, we're going to Tom's. And then she just started bawling, crying. Well, we're not going there. Why? It's the middle of the night. And I said, you know why? You've been sleeping with him for so long. You know why? I want answers. And she said, I'm not sleeping with Tom. I'm not sleeping with Tom. And then I was yelling at her, why is the car leaving every night? I saw it. And she said, you didn't see shit. You don't know shit. Blah, blah, blah. I'm talking, crying. So I pulled in Tom's driveway. She sat in the passenger seat, and I said, get out. I want answers. I want to see both of your faces when both of you see me, and how I feel that I know I put a roof over your head, paid all the bills, and you guys did this to me. I want to see the reaction of both your faces. And she's like, he's not going to answer. So I banged the doorbell like 50 times. Boom, boom, boom.
You're ringing it still.
And he came and he opened the door and just looked at me, looked at her, and he started walking back to just left the door open like he knew, like something like he knew.
Like, what time of night is this?
This was at like midnight.
You don't remember what he's wearing or what he's doing?
I think he had some kind of like roby thing on. I believe so, like a roby thing on or something.
Color or anything?
I just remember a robe thingy. That's all I remember. And right away, I said, you know why I'm here, Tom? I said, what do you two have to say for yourself? And Tom didn't say nothing. And she's bawling, crying her eyes out. I told you we're not doing nothing. I said, Tom, I saw you leave my house multiple times. I know what's going on. And I thought I was going to be kind of like, well, not respected. Well, like, I thought he was going to be very smooth about it. But right away he said, who the fuck do you think you are? Coming here to my home in the middle of the fucking night. He said, you two fucking stupid little kids. And just went off and off. I'm fucking Tom, like, I have my own fucking business. You come here and wake me up in the middle of the night and blah, 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 ring my doorbell so many times. I have kids. I have my own business. I said, this is not, I wanted this to go, Tom. I said, yes, you saved my life. You put a roof over my head. Yes, you could have turned me away. But why are you sleeping with Katie? Yeah, I'm not sleeping with that fucking bitch. I said, Tom, I saw you walk down my master bedroom step buttoning your shirt. He said, oh, fucking damn.
Everything that Matt is telling detectives is entirely new. The way he dramatically recounts events feels as though it's been rehearsed. However, the police know that there is one thing for certain that he isn't lying about. Katie had cheated on him multiple times, including with Anthony, one of the men he claimed. The sheriff's office interviewed Anthony back in 2012, and he openly told them that he had been sleeping with Katie on and off for several years, in spite of her relationship with Mathew being public knowledge. He stated that himself, as well as his friends, routinely referred to her as, quote, crazy Katie, and that she was incredibly clingy and would often overstay her welcome at his house, pouting and ignoring his requests for her to leave. Matt himself hasn't claimed that Katie's crazy or given any drastically negative insights about her. But that's about to change. And Matt is about to do everything he can to make himself look like a victim.
Tom was like standing kind of by the door to go downstairs, kind of like 5 feet away, and then we were probably about 5 feet from him. And she was about 3 to 5 to my side.
All right.
So I could look at him, then her to my right.
Okay.
So then after he started freaking out, he just went downstairs, and I looked at her, and I was like, and so I followed him. And I went down there, and he's standing there, and he had a pistol at his side. And right away, I just put my hand up. I said, "That's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to fight." And he just went on, "How fucking dare you come in my fucking home? This home's paid off. My business. You don't know who the fuck I am." He's like, "I don't give a fuck about your stupid little bitch." Shit like that, just screaming. Like, this is not what I'm here for. I've never even seen a gun. I've never touched a gun in my life. I mean, to see that at somebody's side, you froze. And then I tried to say something. He started to raise it, and I charged him. And we started wrestling, and right away he got the upper hand, and he put me in a sleeper hold. And I don't know if he wrestled. He had to wrestle when he was younger or something, because, I mean, I know how to take care of myself, and he had the upper hand in 10 seconds. And he had me in this lock that I couldn't breathe, I couldn't move, and I just started to see stars in darkness. And all of a sudden I heard a pop. And Katie's standing there, and she had the gun that he had. And he let go, and we rolled off each other. And he ran around the ping pong table and stood there and said, "You stupid fucking psycho bitch, give me my fucking gun, give me my fucking gun." And I looked at her and I said, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?" I said, "This is not what this is supposed to be." And she said, "You made me fucking shoot him, he's gonna fucking kill you, he's strangling you." Blah, 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 while she's crying. And she was on the back. She went that way on the back wall, and she never took that gun off him. Not once. And he put his arms out and started charging her. And he was just kept saying, give me my fucking gun. That's all I remember. Give me my fucking gun. As soon as he started moving towards her, I jumped on the ping pong table, and the ping pong table went everywhere. I don't know where. It just broke and went everywhere. And she fired 3 more times. And he was,
Tell me the rest.
he was falling, and I think the last shot hit him in the head. And she just stood there. She wasn't even shaking. She wasn't shaking. She wasn't nervous. And I just looked at her, and I didn't even know what to say to her. Like, I just sat there and I stared for about 15 minutes. I just stared at him, shaking, not knowing. And I knew I needed to call the police. I knew it. Police had to be called. This was not what this was supposed to be like. This was not. I didn't come. This guy saved my life by putting a roof over my head. I mean, he's a great man. He's a wonderful man. He still is a wonderful man. And then right away, Kate disappeared. He came back with a bag, and she said, "Pick up the shell casings, pick everything up and put it in this bag." So I picked up 2 shell casings. She picked up whatever else, put it in the bag, and she started drawing stupid numbers and shit on the wall, and I didn't understand. What the fuck are you doing? She's like, "Just shut the fuck up." She later explained shit about it.
Well, tell me about that. Like, what she explained about that. That's important.
She wanted to make it not look like we did anything.
Matt continues to expand on his story, claiming that he begged Katie to go to the police and she refused. Law enforcement strongly believe that this was a desperate last-ditch effort by Matt to paint himself as a victim and Katie as a murderer. The case continued on to trial. Now, while Tom's family spoke to his character, Katie's family and defense team attempted to do the same. They took the stand and claimed that Katie was in a horrifically abusive relationship where she feared for her life, and that's why she refused to tell police the truth about Mathew killing Tom. Mathew attended Tom's funeral, tried to get close to his family, and expressed condolences to them at length. Yet, in the back of his mind, he was celebrating a free place to live. Katie was sentenced to 21.5 years for second-degree reckless homicide, resisting arrest, perjury, and conspiracy to commit perjury. Matt was sentenced to at least 51 years in prison, but not just for the murder of Thomas Wick. Now, if you think this case was horrific, well, you need to check out my video where the main suspect had no idea that he was being recorded by an undercover cop.